Hey, you guys, and welcome back to my kitchen if you're new here. I'm your girl, Nick, and I typically like to make dishes that are straight from my garden to my kitchen. But today, I'm trying something different. I watch a lot of YouTube. I am very much a foodie, and I like to cook, and I like to experiment in the kitchen, and I experiment on who? None other than the family. So, what's happening today is that I was watching YouTube one day, and of course, you know, when you're watching YouTube, you go down a rabbit hole, and I saw this French chef making salmon, and he was like, "This is the best way to make salmon," and I was like, "No, like I love the way that I make salmon." And I'll put a link to that method in the description. But basically, I leave the skin on, and I put it in a pan that's screaming hot with the skin side down. I never flip it, and I just baste the top with butter. Like, of course, I season it before I put it in there, but I baste the top with butter. It comes out amazing, and that skin is super crispy and so delicious. This French chef, he did things a little bit differently, and I'm gonna try it today because I thought, hey, that sounds really, really great. So I'm coming here to share it with y'all. He did it in like 7 minutes flat. It's gonna take me a lot longer than that because first of all, I talk a lot more. And then second of all, well, this will be my first time making it this way, so that's gonna make it take longer. I've already prepped most of my things so that you don't have to sit through that. But the other thing that made his video like really easy to sit through is he's French and that accent, and when he was talking, it just sounded so relaxing. I don't have a French accent, so y'all just have to suffer through my Southern accent. I think I have a little bit of a Southern accent, so just, hey, I'm gonna use that to my advantage. So let's get going here. I have some really nice salmon that I've already trimmed up. I'm gonna use this. I've kind of like patted it dry, and this chef said to season only with salt. And of course, I've talked about this before when I was seasoning ribs. You season from up high so you can see where the salt is going, or see where the seasoning is going, whatever you're using, and so that you coat things pretty evenly. So that's what I'm doing here. And here's the thing, he did not use anything other than salt. So that's that. So the other thing is that he used a carbon steel pan. I'm using a carbon steel pan. I think that this might be my new favorite pan. It's almost like cast iron, but much lighter, much lighter. So that's what I'm using. I'm gonna go ahead and heat that up. And what he used was, I mean, this recipe seems so simple. He just used water. I'm gonna use a little bit more water than that. Water and some butter. Some melted butter. That's all he used, y'all. And I'm not using any special kind of butter. I don't know what he used. This butter seemed much clearer than my butter is, but I'm just using regular old unsalted butter. And I'm just gonna bring that up to temperature. In the meanwhile, like I said, I have already prepped most of my ingredients. This is gonna be in a curry sauce. So I have here some shallots that I've just kind of sliced, and some ginger that I've sliced, and now I'm gonna go ahead and slice my garlic. I like to leave the garlic for last because it's pungent, and I want to keep that pungency. But if you slice it or chop it too early, it'll lose a lot of that pungency. The flavor will still be there, kinda, but it'll lose a lot of pungency. So anyway, that's that. And then I have some coconut milk here and some white wine. And of course, water. I always have my handy dandy water on tap. Here is my curry seasoning because this recipe is a coconut curry sauce. And I think that's it. This over here, these are some chives from the garden, and that's going to be for garnish at the end. He also garnished with some baby veggies like baby cauliflower, baby broccoli, and some other things. I'm not going to do that because I don't even know if we're going to like this. Like, I'm just trying this out because I want to see if we like this thing. And if we do, it's a keeper. If not, no harm, no foul. But I'm not trying to do all the things. I just want the salmon and the sauce, and I want to see how we like it. So over here, this other pan. This is my little saucepan. This is where I'm going to make the actual sauce. I'm going to need a sieve because eventually I'm going to have to strain the sauce. So in this pot, I'm going to start off with a little bit of oil. This is my Omega blend. This is avocado oil, olive oil, and hemp oil in this bottle. He used the neutral oil. Neutral oil is usually a seed oils, and I don't really use those. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on low heat. I have low heat in my cast iron skillet because that's what he said to use. And I'm gonna go ahead and add in my salmon. And I'm gonna add it in. You need really good grade of salmon for this. I'm gonna add it in with the skin side where I remove the skin. I'm gonna add it that side down. And he says not to flip it, which I get the non-flipping thing, but if we're not moving things around, I don't really know how that's gonna work. And he says it only takes like 5 to 7 minutes. He did his whole video in like 9 minutes. That's not gonna happen, y'all. It's not gonna happen with me. I'm struggling. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna move this. I'm struggling to keep this thing from cooking a lot quicker than it needs to, so I'm gonna move this back to a smaller burner. And that's another point. I think he did, like, he was in a restaurant setting, and he did this on top of a griddle, and then he used like a mesh something or other to keep it from touching the heat. So for me, I'm just gonna use my smallest burner, and I'm gonna put it on low heat. So let's see how that goes. Meanwhile, on this other side here, come closer. On this other side here, I have my oil going, and I'm just gonna add in my aromatics. My aromatics being the shallots, the ginger, and the garlic. And I don't think I'm gonna use all of these shallots. I have about 1 inch of ginger that I sliced thinly, and 1 large clove of garlic. Actually, I am gonna use all of this because I can use that for other things. So there we go. That's that. And then he sweats that out. We're gonna sweat it out. We don't want things to get brown or anything. We just really want the flavor of those veggies, those shallots, the ginger, the garlic. We just want the flavor. So we're gonna sweat that out a little bit. For the salmon, I actually used a sushi grade salmon. I use this salmon also to make some salmon balls, which I will link to in the description as well. And I was able to taste it before I actually put it on the, before I actually cooked it. I was able to taste it simply because it was such a good grade of salmon. So, okay, so what he said is true. You do start to see it cooking from the bottom. You do start to see it cooking, which is a good thing. Like, I don't know if you can see that base kind of has a little bit of white coming on it. And then I don't know if you've ever noticed, and this is something he brought up as well, if you've ever noticed when you bake some salmon and you bring it to temperature way too fast, it gets like these little white globs on it. And that's, you kind of can see them in here. You can, let's see if I can show you. See those little white globs? Like, that's just the fat from the salmon. I can't say the name correctly, but that's just the fat from the salmon coming up. And a lot of times it shows itself on the surface of the salmon, which is not the prettiest thing. It doesn't hurt anything. It's just not pretty. That's all. But you can see that this is actually cooking really well. There's nothing in here but water and butter. It's like poached salmon, actually. Water and butter. And you can see here along the edge, right here, we're starting to get a little opaque. So you know it's cooking. It's cooking through. And these two smaller pieces, you can see even more of where the demarcation is. Let's see if I can pick it up for you. Especially this one. This one is cooking through really, really well. Can you see that? And let's look at this other small baby. I love this carbon steel pan because you don't have to worry about using a very specific utensil or anything like that. By the way, a review of this carbon steel pan is coming up soon. I did a review on the Always pan, so definitely have to do a review on this one. You see that? You can see where it's starting to cook through. I haven't done anything special, haven't flipped it. Only thing I'm doing that's different or special is just kind of basting. Trying to keep that, I forget what they call it. It's like bilirubin or something like that. But trying to keep that at bay. Okay, back over here to the sauce because I feel like I'm neglecting the sauce. So I'm trying my very best not to like brown the veggies. I didn't do a great job. It's probably so much about that salmon. I didn't do a great job. Just trying to sweat those out nicely. And now that I've got it kind of sweated out, I'm gonna add in my white wine. And it's pretty much equal parts of everything. I'm gonna add in my white wine and stir that in a little bit. And then let's add in the coconut milk. Again, I'm trying to use equal amounts. And he had these really cute little cups. They were these little white cups. I couldn't find those things. These little white cups with spouts, as opposed to my little prep bowls. I love my prep bowls, but those things were so cute. And I cook enough that I feel like I could use those. I love some mise en place, and I love saying mise en place. So that's just my sweated out shallots, garlic, and ginger. He says to add in a little bit of water. Because that coconut milk is super rich and you don't want it to be like overpowering in the dish. So I'm gonna do that. And then he adds in last his curry powder. And yes, he actually did use a curry mix. Like normally, I love a great curry, but normally when I make curry, like curry chicken, or curry lamb, or anything here at home, I kind of mix my own spices to make it, but he used a spice mix, so I'm using a spice mix, y'all. Look at that beautiful color. That's gorgeous. Should I taste it? I don't know if I taste my food all the time. Y'all know that already. But he didn't taste his food. I guess he was just so confident that he already knew what he was doing. So I'm going to taste this a little bit because, oh my gosh. It's really good. It's really good. Maybe a tiny wee bit of salt, but I'm going to use a cracked sea salt. But that's really good. Let that go a minute. Yep, I'll let that work a minute. And then I'm going to come back over here to the salmon. Let's see what's going on with that. So the direction on the salmon was to try to stay at 5 to 7 minutes. And the chef was so cute and funny because he said, of course, once you can start to see that it's cooking through, you can stop. This big piece clearly is not done all the way through, in my opinion. And I don't mind having my fish rare, medium rare. I do it a lot. I love sushi. I love ahi tuna, which they barely just kiss it with some heat. This one in the middle, you can tell, is doing great things. And this one on the end is doing great things as well. It's just the cut is thicker on one side than it is on the other side. So you can't really tell that it's really great. So what he did was he stuck a skewer, a small skewer, much smaller than this. This is a skewer I use on the grill. He stuck a skewer in there and said if it comes out, I'm gonna do the big one. First off, if it goes in nice and easily, but then it comes out and it's warm, it's probably ready. Oh, you know what? Oh, y'all. I said this is the only thing I have. Let's see. I do have these babies. These. Thank you, grandmother. I have these. May God rest your soul. I have these. Let's try it. So he says if you stick that in there, it should go in nice and easy. Which it does. And when you touch it to your skin, it should be warm. That one's not as warm as I would like. Let's try this one. Oh, that's warm. He says if it's hot, like it's going to burn your hand, that one's done. Then it's too far gone. But if it's warm, it's probably ready. So, and it should take between 5 and 7 minutes. That's what the chef said. It's been almost 5 minutes. So I'm just going to let it go another minute or so. And then we'll take it off and we'll taste test. Okay, So my salmon is almost done. And this video has taken me twice as long to make as the French chef. Let's try the sauce again. I did add a little bit of salt. Felt like that was necessary. It is curry-y. And it is delicious, actually. I can taste all of the things. And I feel like once I strain this, I'm going to show you now. Once I strain this, I'm going to taste the flavors of like the shallots and the ginger and the garlic even more. So let's do that next. So I just have a fine sieve over a measuring cup, and I'm doing it this way. Actually, I'm going to do it I'm going to do it in this measuring cup. And I have it this way because I didn't have something else big enough to do that, because I really want to extract all the flavors. Meanwhile, I've turned my salmon off completely, and it's just sitting in that butter and mayo mixture. And I'm just pushing all that flavor out of this veg. Trying to keep it all together. Don't get rid of this veg. Like, I can use this for something else. I love a great curry, so it doesn't bother me that it has curry flavor on it. I can add that to anything. But that's pretty much it. You're just trying to get as much of the flavor out of the ginger and the garlic and the shallots as possible. I think that's pretty much it, y'all. So, let's try that one more again. One more time. Yep, that's got all the flavor. Almost ready. All right, so here we go. Moment of truth. And I had to think about and go research what this is called. I've researched this before, but it's called albumin, the white that shows up on the actual salmon. So here's my piece of salmon, and he showed us this where you can see that it has cooked up through. Even though it looks maybe pale to some people, like to me it looks like almost like sushi, but it's cooked all the way through. So I'm going to do these two smaller pieces, and we are going to taste it. So what he did was he plated it, and then he added his baby little veggies, which we're not doing, of course. And then he poured his sauce around the base, so you didn't cover up the actual salmon. And I already messed that up because I got some sauce on the edge of the salmon right there. Y'all see it? But it's all good. It still looks great. And I'm using a tiny little plate so that it can have the same effect. Then he also did this thing where he did some, let's see. Needed my scissors for that, my kitchen scissors. Some chives on top. And these are some chives from the garden. I'm just going to do a couple and see what happens. He made it all pretty, because you know how the French do. My husband is from Louisiana, so he counts as a Frenchie. So I'm just going to do that thing. Let's see what happens. Babe, you ready to taste this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's see. Let's make it a little bit prettier. Now remember, nothing is spicy about this. All right, so here we go. Moment of truth. Just remember that this is not spicy at all. So,
Okay.
you ready?
Well,
You want to try it at the same time?
Sure.
You think it looks good? It's pretty, huh?
Yeah, very pretty.
With that curry sauce. Let's go. Let's get a piece. Oh my God, it's so tender.
Yes, it is.
So super tender. Mmm.
That's good.
It's delicious.
That's good. What's the sauce?
That's a coconut curry sauce.
Okay.
It's not like the curry we normally make.
No, it's not.
It's not as spicy.
I can taste the
Look at how pretty that is.
curry flavor.
Can you see that? It's really pretty. And
Delicious.
it's really good.
Yep.
That is going on the menu.
For us?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
That's what I'm gonna. But for who else?
That looks expensive.
Well, we already had the salmon, the chives. We already had everything on hand.
All right.
We can't stop eating, y'all. So, this was a success. Cheers.